coming through to Restream. So that's a start. Restream has gone very happy.
Good. Look, I'd love it if they just changed that for us. Very happy. It's not good. It's not excellent. Very happy. Look, I'd love it.
Your stream health is happy. I've got stuff coming through to. I don't know if I go into the light feed. I've got stuff coming through to. Whatchamacallit?
That place.
Twitch. Oh, here we go. YouTube's now finally kicked into gear. Yeah, YouTube's running. We're running on everything.
Excellent.
We're all working. Everything's happening. Things are going on.
Touch wood.
Touch wood.
Touch
wood. Yeah. Good evening, Graham.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 206.
Don't. 206
of the Van Nurse podcast. This is our little penultimate one for before Christmas. And so here we go. So Skazz, how are you?
I'm alive, mate. Wow, you really choked on that intro. What's happening?
I know, I really fucked up, didn't I? I totally and utterly fucked up the intro. Shall I go again?
Please do, because that scared me.
Okay. Good evening, on Suffolk Graham.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 206 of the Van Nurse podcast. Oh, fuck's sake.
There we go. By the way, I'm not cutting that and editing or anything. Just that really freaked me out. I was like, hang on, Ram doesn't cock up the intro to the podcast.
I just forgot what I normally say.
You forgot what to say.
It's been a long day. Dog was ill.
Oh mate.
And she had me up in the night. She's fine now. We sorted her out.
Just something dodgy that she's eating.
Yeah. So she was panting hard last night, and she was like licking her lips, but she was trembling. But it's late at night. It's like, okay, I thought we'll see you go overnight, because she was still eating and stuff. So I thought, we'll see you go overnight. So when she went to bed, she actually was sounder. So I was like, okay, it's not too bad. But yeah, she got me up in the middle of the night, wanted to go out to the loo, so I took her out. Went back to bed. She spent about an hour or so panting again. It's like, oh, this isn't good. I want to get to the vet in the morning. But she go back to sleep again, settle down. This morning, first thing, she was all right. She had her breakfast. She wasn't doing the panting anymore. She wasn't trembling anymore.
Sure.
She was okay. So I hung around for like 45 minutes. Thought, well, she seems to be all right. Someone else is here today, so I'll go to the farm and when I come back midday, I'll see how she is. Got back midday, and she was still a little bit panty, but still not. She's better than she was. She still wasn't quite right. So I rang the vet. I was hoping they wouldn't say I'd have to go in, because if I had to go in, it'd be a call out. It's 150 quid for call out.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's out of hours.
Oh, mate.
So, yeah. So I was like, please. Because 2 weeks ago she did this to me. She decided to pull a leg 2 weeks ago on Saturday. So I take her to the vet on a Saturday. Normal fees, about 40 quid. Out of hours, 150. So I was like, please don't know.
They really know how to make the money. They really know how to get the money out of you. Because they know you love that wee animal.
Yeah.
It's family.
But vet rang me up. Luckily, I still had some pills left over from last time. I saved some back because she still got better quite quickly. And I also thought she'd miseaten something. And so vet said, oh, just give her those pills, see how she goes. If she's only better in like a day or so, give us another call and we'll get her back in. So I did that, and then this afternoon she went out, and without saying too grim for the podcast, she had a monumental poo. And after that, she was she's like, it was almost like sort of like about 10 minutes after she's done that, she was like back to normal.
Yeah,
so
over
she obviously
it now.
got for us. Yeah, so she's fine now. She's all back to normal now. Quite happy. And I'm also on light food, just rice and stuff for the time being, just to make sure she's cleared through. But
Bless her.
yes, so thankfully no vet fee for me.
Bless, man. That's stressful as fuck.
So unfortunately, yeah. So I was quite tired this afternoon, and I actually fell asleep watching Die Hard, our Christmas film.
Beautiful, fantastic film. People still argue with me about that being a Christmas film.
Well, there's nothing to argue about. It's a Christmas film. I can tell you why I know it's a Christmas film, because Disney, because we watched on Disney Plus this year.
It's listed in their in the Christmas section.
Yes, it is. Yes.
It is.
So screw you, everybody. Disney, you own it. Tell us it's a Christmas film. So screw you.
Die Hard 2 is technically a Christmas film as well, isn't it? It takes place Christmas Eve.
It does. Yes. And it's got snow in it.
Yeah. See, which is the thing for Christmas.
Yeah.
I hate it when people argue with me about those. It's like, they take place over Christmas, motherfucker. So does Iron Man 3. They take place over Christmas. The Christmas holiday. It's a Christmas fucking film. John McClane has got a big fucking bear to give to his kid. It's a Christmas film, motherfucker.
I told somebody at work, I said, look, and I about this. I also, somebody actually did a study. They looked at a load of Christmas films, traditional considered Christmas films, and they went in. They basically made an analysis of like how often Christmas is mentioned, how many Christmas songs are in it, and like it's all like little chibbles say this is a Christmas film.
Die Hard was definitely up there, I bet.
Oh yeah. Die Hard's got loads of references to it and so forth. I mean, it's like a fun Christmas party. I mean, what more do you possibly want?
Yeah, exactly. Want? Nakatomi Plaza was like, it's not Christmas. Fuck it is. It's the Christmas
it ends on a Christmas song.
The whole reason why old Hans is trying to rob the bastards over the Christmas period is because security is going to be fucked, and it's going to be weak. It's going to be weaker than normal.
Yeah,
it's easier to raid them over the Christmas period than it would be any other time.
Yeah,
because people aren't going to be in the office.
Yeah, exactly. So anyone who says it's not a Christmas film, don't be so stupid.
It's a major plot element.
Yep, and every year for the last I don't know how many years, we always the first weekend of December we normally decorate the house and we have McDonald's and we watch Die Hard.
Good call.
And that's our little Christmas tradition. We decorate up early this year. There is a tree in the corner of my office as we speak, but we did it on Monday for scheduling reasons. But we thought, no, we're still going to have our Christmas deal. So we had McDonald's, we had Die Hard. So Christmas has started for me.
Good call. Not here, thankfully.
When do you decorate up?
When we can be bothered.
Yeah, fair enough.
At the moment, the kids don't really seem to give a shit. They don't care. Inky doesn't really give a toss. I don't really give a toss. We've got nowhere to put a tree. Last year we had a live tree out front. I'm just tempted to say, look, kids, hey, see that big sycamore tree out the front of the house? Just go and put some decks on there. And we'll be done. But no, we haven't decorated. I keep on saying every single year I want to get one of them mini phone projectors so that I can put it out front of the house and have Die Hard play on the side of my house. I've been wanting to do that fucking for years and I still haven't done it.
Well, I'll repeat.
Yeah, that's it. Just have it loop just over and over and over again.
I think Die Hard is a 2-hour long film, so yeah, you could have that loop 12 times a day.
See? Have it go all through the night.
Yeah. Would you be obnoxious? Now, question: how obnoxious would you be? Would you have sound with it or just the film?
Oh, I don't know. I might have sound on it. Oh, do you know what would be really good? If I had so I used to have a set of garden speakers. I still have a set of garden speakers, but they're not hooked up. Just imagine having those up and cranked. Just play Die Hard 24 hours a day.
You should buy some of those firework launchers that launch fireworks on remote control and time it to match the gunshots.
Dude, you know when the roof blows?
Yes.
This fucking huge explosion every single time that scene goes. And
every 2 hours.
To shake the fucking street.
Every 2 hours.
People start getting into the festive spirit.
Yeah. Neighbours Brown Christmas Day. What was that? Oh, that's just the that's Skazz and his family down the road. That's their Die Hard explosion.
This is the Die Hard experience.
Yeah. It's every 2 hours. Every 2 hours. Well, it's a big officer since the beginning of December.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
When does it stop? New Year's.
And now you know where all the Die Hard Christmas movie deniers come from.
Yeah. But you see, if you had an elf out the front, people would be like, "Oh, it's lovely, it's an elf."
Oh, mate, don't. One of my neighbours has got one of those like a Christmas lamp that they hang up out by their front door every year, and it lights up and it plays Christmas carols. My fucking God, I have had to resist every year. I think we've been living here for 8 years, 9 years, something like that. I don't know. Long time. Every single year since they've put that fucking thing up, I have had to resist just ripping it off the fucking wall.
Because Skazz, no need. I have an air rifle.
Oh, mate, please. Just drive by the motherfucker. Because it does my head in. It really does my head in. So that would be why my Die Hard fucking explosion extravaganza
was aimed at them.
Just go for it. Balls deep, that's what you get. You take down that fucking annoying lamp that plays
Yeah.
those goddamn Christmas carols, right? Get rid of it, and I will tone down.
Oh, turn down. I think you should get in the spirit of like enhancing, creating the 4D Die Hard experience. You should cover their path in glass.
That'd be great. That would be absolutely great.
Enhance the experience for them, I feel.
I doubt they'd appreciate it, but I'd find it funny. So
Yeah.
It's in the spirit of Christmas. I
Yeah.
take all my
But-
cues from Die Hard.
So it should be worth mentioning actually. Saddest news is the guy who played Theo in Die Hard, the little like black hacker dude, died this week.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
66.
Wait, 66? That's no time ago.
No, it isn't.
What happened?
I'm looking. They haven't released what happened yet.
I like him.
It. Yeah.
In fairness, I like anyone that does
look-
anything with the keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, looks like the police have got an RV. And the quarterback is toast.
I seriously, man, I love that film, and I love all the fucking characters in it, and just
Die Hard is actually it's an example of a perfectly well written, executed film. There's not a line of dialogue is wasted in that film, and it's full of random like bits of information is thrown out there, which seems just source filler, but comes back later. It's so well crafted. It's a proper, well crafted film script.
unfortunately that didn't continue for Die Hard 2.
No, and we're not going to talk. And that was a pity though. The only two Die Hards they ever made, the only two. They didn't make any more.
You're one of the guys that doesn't like Die Hard 3.
No.
Like, see, now here's a note. I like Die Hard 3. I hate Die Hard 2.
I'm not a fan. I'll be honest with you. I actually like the original Die Hard, if I'm truth to be told.
Sure. Die
I'm not
Hard
a fan.
4 was all right.
I've watched that
It was all right.
once. I think the trouble was, my issue with the Die Hards is they got a bit more. Everything that happens to Bruce Willis in Die Hard 1,
That's realistic. That's a
it's
thing
plausible.
that could happen. Yeah, that could totally
it's
be a
plausible.
thing.
I mean,
He
there are
was a
things that he
regular
does.
guy in the wrong place.
Yeah. There are a couple of things he does do which you couldn't do. Like when he's in the long ventilation shaft, he jumps and he grabs himself by like his fingertips. That's
Yeah,
not
no
possible.
way.
You just can't do it. No way. No chance of doing that. But it felt sort of grounded.
Yeah.
Whereas the later ones, I think is there a bit where he like drops a car into a helicopter
That's
or something?
Die Hard 4, yeah.
Yeah.
He hits the what the fuck are they called? The things that usually stop your cars and that from going through. The split in the middle, he just fucking hits it and the car flies up, hits the helicopter fucking disintegrates in midair, explodes and all that. That was the hacker film, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really didn't like Die Hard 4.
I liked that it was Bruce Willis's character completely out of his comfort zone. You know, that he is literally a dinosaur. You know, he's an 80s cop in the modern day, and he hasn't got with the times at all. That was what I liked about it. A lot of the other stuff in it was fucking dog shit. Like the actual hackery stuff. No, the fact that parkour was popular back when Die Hard 4 came out, so every fucking villain had to be a parkour expert. Get fucked, right? But yeah, it was. I thought it was all right. It was all right. And then they did Die Hard 5, where you had
I haven't
John
seen
McClane's
Die Hard
son.
5. I haven't seen Die Hard 5.
Yeah, don't. So I think the idea was they were going to hand off the Die Hard series to McClane's son.
Yeah.
And no, it's fucking, because at that point they really did just become like hardcore action films, but goofy action films. Not
Why do they hand off to his daughter? Given that like Lucy McClane is the only, although he's got two children, the only sort of dialogue is from Lucy McClane in the original Die Hard. Her son's just in the background doing nothing.
I will say actually, the groove between John and Lucy in Die Hard 4, I think, was top notch as well.
Yeah.
Because she just took on basically the role of the mum, where she's like, nope, don't want anything to fucking do with you. You're an asshole.
I actually forgot she was in it. To be
Oh
honest.
wow, okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I forgot she was in Die Hard 4.
Yeah, she's one of the main characters.
I actually think oh crumbs. It was a long time ago since I watched Die Hard 4, and I think I tried to erase most of it from my mind. I think I whacked my head on the wall a couple of times to delete it.
Just to be sure, he was going for a corruption right there.
Yeah, I do not want to remember this.
Because doesn't Lethal Weapon also take place around Christmas? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So the Christmas or Thanksgiving, Lethal Weapon.
You're not going to appreciate this, but I've never seen Lethal Weapon.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's on my list of films that I really should watch, but haven't got round to yet.
Ram?
I know. I'm gradually crossing things off the list.
Right, bump those up to the top, mate. There's 4 of them. Get it sorted.
Oh god, 4 of them.
They're Christmas films as well. I'm pretty sure it's Christmas, not Thanksgiving, at the end of Lethal Weapon.
Would you like me to Google?
Please do.
Lethal Weapon.
And if anyone argues with me, yeah, because I'm sure a girl tops herself just before Christmas. There's Christmas carols playing in the background. She jumps. Because Riggs is trying to sell Christmas trees or buy Christmas trees.
I don't like this title already. Lethal Weapon is the action Christmas movie Die Hard wished it was. Fuck you.
No, it's a pretty good film.
I'm sure it's a good
he
film.
wasn't trying to buy trees. He was trying to buy like fucking coke. But
I'll watch Lethal Weapon.
It's a good film.
I'll watch it.
I love Lethal Weapon films, man. I'm just trying to think what was the worst one. Oh, 3. Ugh.
Yeah. I'm not a great fan of Mel Gibson, if I'm honest.
Well, you're going to have to take that and put it in the bin, because Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in those fucking films, mwah, beautiful. Absolutely fucking beautiful.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it...
They almost blow up fucking Danny Glover on a toilet.
Oh yeah, I heard of that scene. Mythbusters tried that scene.
Top notch.
Is it on Amazon Prime? Let's have a look. It's on Amazon Prime.
That's a great film.
What? Because they need to blow Danny Glover up on a toilet?
Yeah. That's fucking... Honestly, it's a fantastic film.
Joke.
Come on, Ram.
I'm looking. Is it on Lethal Weapon? Let's see. Is it on Prime? There's a TV series?
Oh, don't. No. No. Abort, Ram. Fucking eject, son. Get the fuck out of there.
I did actually knock one film off my list yesterday.
Dare I ask?
Pulp Fiction.
Is that the one with Samuel L. Jackson and Uma Thurman and...
yes. And I can never remember his name.
John Travolta?
That's him.
Is it John Travolta?
It is John Travolta, yeah.
Fuck yeah! I don't remember the film, but fuck yeah!
No, it's a Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah, that might explain why I don't remember it very well.
Yeah, it's one of those films I've had on my list, waiting for it to go free on one of the various streaming platforms. It went free yesterday. It's like, oh,
fucking, you were waiting for it to be free. Yeah, that film's been out for like 1,000,000 years.
Yeah, but Amazon had it on there. They wanted to try to run you to rent it.
It's like, I'm not paying for this shit.
No, hell no. I'll wait for it to go free. It went free, so I watched it.
Mate,
that was really good.
That just reminds me of a Zig and Zag. Do you remember the Big Breakfast puppets, Zig and Zag?
Yes.
They did a sketch called Pulp Fiction, where they were dressed up as the main characters of Pulp Fiction, and they were just going fishing. Just that's all I think about every single time someone mentions a Tarantino film. That's all I remember. Or the lassie in Kill Bill.
Uma Thurman.
No. The sword fight.
Well, there's also sword fights.
The wee Asian lassie.
Oh,
the
her,
big
yeah.
fucking...
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen a few Quentin films. I actually quite like most of the ones I've seen. Yeah. What was the one I watched the other... I finally got around to watching Reservoir Dogs about a year ago. That was really good.
Question: what is taking you so long to get to films from a million years ago?
Of course, for a long time,
Are you going to watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe when you're like 80 years old or something?
I'm not sure. I'm not a great fan of superhero stuff. I just for a long time, whenever you got into films, I used to find films a bit like, I used to like series where you guys sort of like get right deep into them.
Sure.
And then eventually, I got round. Eventually, it was about 3 years ago. I watched some. It was actually during lockdown 3 years ago, and I watched a film on a Friday night on one of my grandfather's. It's quite nice. You know, watch a film, watch a whole thing in one go. Oh, it's for Friday night. Quite nice. I quite liked it. So that became a bit of a habit. And pretty much every sort of Friday evening since, I've had my kebab and I watch a film.
Oh, there you go.
And so, which means is why I'm catching up because I'm watching one a week. I've only doing it for the last 3 years, so I'm gradually catching up on all the sort of like films everybody goes on about.
Sure.
So I've caught a few, and I've watched Blues Brothers, didn't like it.
Oh, Blues Brothers. Yeah, if you didn't like Blues Brothers, stay away from Blues Brothers 2000 then.
I wouldn't even bother, to be honest.
Fair enough. I don't think it was a bad film. It has some good music in it.
Yeah, I watched. I watched Beetlejuice. I watched Speed the other week.
Fucking, you've only just watched Speed, Jesus.
Yeah,
Alright.
Speed. I remember last year I watched Speed. But yeah, also like the classic films. I've only sort of just got around to watching.
No, I get you. I get you.
We often used to do a film night on a Saturday with family. However, my father is the ultimate member of the public that he only likes all newish films.
Oh.
He doesn't like if he says he doesn't. I say we went to put a film. It was like 15 years, like early 2000s. Like, well, that's quite old, isn't it? It's
wow. Well, I mean, he does have a point. It is pretty old.
It is, but he's like sort of in a negative way. He's like, well, that's quite old. Why do we want to watch that?
So, well, have you seen it before? No. Well, then we're watching it.
Yeah. It's like, what's the problem? An old film can still be good, but no.
Yeah. They, believe it or not, they haven't really changed a lot in how a film is constructed over the last 20 years. CG is still shite.
I also have the opinion that actual fact I prefer a lot of 80s and 90s films to modern films.
Yeah.
I also think 80s and 90s had a habit of, for some reason, we went from a stage where the main characters in those films tend to be just regular people who are just pushing the edges of believability of what they do.
Yep.
They weren't too over the top crazy. Whereas now, every main character in every film, this is so and so. They are the best cop in New York.
Yeah.
Not just a cop in New York, the best one.
Yeah.
The ultimate best one. So this is the best in this fantasy film. They are the best archer in all this realm. Not just an archer. It's like why do you have to be the best at everything? Why can't you be a person?
One of the things that people got really pissy about when Disney started remaking a lot of their classics into live actions, and they were like, the relatability of these characters were that there was a struggle. They started out just like an average Joe. There was a struggle. They got better, with hard work. They were relatable. Now you've remade a character. I think one of it's Mulan, the one with the dragon. Right. The little was it Eddie Murphy as the dragon or whatever? I think it was Eddie Murphy or someone.
Eddie Murphy as the dragon? I thought it was Donkey.
No, that's Shrek.
Oh.
I think. Yeah. Right. But like in this, so in that film, in the original, Mulan had to do fucking work, right, to prove that she could keep up with everyone else, right? Strong woman. Wasn't just instantly gifted. In the remake, they just instantly made her this fucking badass. Like this martial arts, magical, spiritual, hardcore badass. I was like, there's nothing relatable about the character. It just makes her an arrogant tit. Most
badasses in films are boring.
Yeah. Well, because there's no challenge. You know they're going to win.
No, exactly. So there are some exceptions to that rule. Like Uma Thurman's character in Kill Bill, who, when she gets going, she's absolutely fantastic lethal, although she gets put for the ringer right at the start.
Yep.
But in general, most badass films, they're just boring.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, so, yeah. So there's no real sort of drama. Then I tend to find I actually am opinion that sort of like modern films have slightly lost their way in terms of characters.
They're also a bit thick, like just writing
yes.
wise, because they know that you haven't really got the attention for it.
Yes. Yes, you're right. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So basically, the film starts, and a couple of words are said, and you've already predicted how the thing's going to play out.
Yeah.
You're like, well, didn't really need to waste 2 hours watching that.
Yeah. You either need to be. It needs to be films. They either go incredibly complicated, or which is not a bad thing. I don't mind a film that's a bit complicated. I don't mind a film that I have to sort of think. I mean, I enjoyed Tenet when it came through. Although I do not think their version of time travel works at all. But also they go the opposite way. It's like it has to be a super simplistic plot, and the characters are super. It's just boring. They're just boring. They're just boring.
Yep.
So I just yeah, and everybody has to be a. Oh, so what? I think that when they cast an actor in a film, the actor is almost the character in a weird way. So they tend to a lot of actors don't tend to stray from type. They are very much pigeonholed. Or I mean, like look at like sort of Dwayne Johnson. He plays the same character in every film he's in.
Yeah, he suffers with Nicolas Cage syndrome.
Yeah,
He's got about the range of a toothpick.
Yeah, but there are a lot of modern actors. I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds, but he tends to play the same character in every single film he's in.
He always has done, though.
Yeah, that's what a lot of modern actors seem to do. They seem to play the same. It's not so much the actor plays the character; it's the character is this person. It's like the sort of opposite way round. And I mean that is true. But look at someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? The guy, you'd think talking to him, he'd be a guy who has no range. But actually, fact, he's gone from super serious characters, which is like his default, to really goofy characters.
Yeah,
he's got a huge range of characterization. He's a surprising actor. Actually, how well versed he can do and move around, change.
Mm-hmm. I have found that a lot of actors have been kind of sterilized over the years. So they start off with a reasonable amount of range and wanting to be willing to do new things and all that, and then they just kind of slowly but surely, like a little bit gets cut off the top, a little bit gets cut off the bottom. They find their feet as time goes on, and then they just do, as you say, they play almost themselves.
Yes,
in films, because that's what they were known for before.
Tom Cruise is a good example.
I haven't seen anything recent with Tom Cruise. The only thing I liked with Tom Cruise in it was Last Samurai.
Yeah, again though, he tends to play nowadays. He tends to play the same character in every film.
Fair enough.
But he was playing Marines. I mean, sometimes it works. I mean, but then well, no, actually, some character. Keanu Reeves. I mean, he's not exactly a great actor, but he does. These do try.
Oh, he's got a range.
Things. He's got a range.
Yeah. He's got the monotone of Nicolas Cage, but he plays a shit ton of different stuff.
Yeah.
You know, John Wick, Ted.
Yeah.
Neo. just to name some of his more recent, more popular roles.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Can I also just? I know I shouldn't, but because I know it really winds people up. But can we stop trying to shove the strong woman thing down people's throats too? As if we forget that we already had strong female leads in like Terminator. You know, Sarah Connor.
Alien?
Yeah, Ripley. You know, can we stop now, please?
Again, I would say 80s heroines.
Fucking likeable characters.
Yeah.
Strong women, good characters, well written. Fucking fantastic fucking lassies playing them. And yet now you just end up with this cookie cutter generic bullshit
because what happens is for some reason about 15, 20 years ago, and both film writers and game writers had the same conversation. They decided a strong female character has to also be an absolute bitch.
I hate that because it's all of the things that people bitch about in men that make up toxic masculinity then gets pushed onto women like as a positive.
Yes.
Like, put that in the bin. Take that attitude and get the fuck rid of it.
Yeah.
Being a wanker doesn't make you strong or tough. Yeah. It makes you a wanker.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But for some reason they feel that, oh, this is a strong, independent woman. She's going to be an absolute bitch to you. Like,
yeah, stop it.
Yeah. I mean, how many times in a computer game, as an example, you're playing perhaps a male character, you've got a female sidekick, and your male says, right, do this. They go, no, I'm just going to do something very wrong and different just to spite you.
It's like, I
was
just asking you to do something. Like, could we help work as a team, you know?
Yeah. You know, they could be perhaps friends, you know, perhaps like each other.
Yeah, believe it or not, there doesn't have to be sexual tension with every person you speak to.
No, yeah. Strange enough, this is, again, I don't know this. You know, men and women have the ability to talk to each other without instantly wanting to get in each other's pants.
It's weird, that, isn't it?
It's very weird. I don't know how this happens.
And being an asshole isn't exclusively a male character trait.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's true. You're right. It's because for some reason there was a phase where the tough man was an arsehole.
Yeah.
There was a phase where the tough man was
just
an
as hated when men did it as
exactly
when women.
And they
did
just
it.
pushed it onto female characters. Like, don't just be lazy. You know, write a person. People can be nice, but also be absolutely, you know, a badass as well.
I think the problem is that given the time, we're all now men are now being told you can't be this, and all the negative character traits are being brought up, right? But now those same character traits are being pushed onto female leads. You have to like this because it's a female lead and check out all this stuff. So, but these are the very things you're telling people they shouldn't do. But it's okay if it's a woman. It just makes a terrible character, and it's lazy writing, to be fair. And I'm crossing lines again. It's just before Christmas. You can all forgive me for Christmas, right? But I'm getting sick and tired of we should like this thing because it's a female lead. We should like this thing because it's got a gay character in it. We should like this thing because it's got a character of color or culture or whatever.
Yeah.
Put it in the bin, please. I find it somewhat offensive when, and this is a horrible one, I'm really sorry, but when I see amplifying black voices in like Disney and Netflix and stuff like that. I understand the cause, right? I get it. However, I feel it should... I wonder how many directors feel somewhat offended that their work is only being pushed to the front page because of the colour of their skin. That makes me feel a bit cringy. You know, it's got a black actress or a black actor or a black director. It has got nothing to do with, you know, if it was critically acclaimed or anything. It's just bam, there it is.
It's a horrific catch-22 situation that you put in, because if you almost like it's almost like, well, if the people who probably put it in, I say, they want to just make films or be an actor and so forth. If it's been pushed, their ethnicity is being used as a selling point. Oh, it's a very triple catch-22. At the same time, though, that there is a problem where TV would overlook actors like that because they assume that everybody wants a white male lead or white female. There was an issue with that where people that's what TV did used to do.
See, that's the weird thing, because I've never really fallen into that trap. I've never fallen into it. Like, a lot of my favourite films have had black leads.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, one of my favourite actors was Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
So I've never... I guess I get in trouble for being colourblind. I don't believe in it. If the film is fucking cool, I'll gravitate towards it.
I think if you should be getting people the opportunities to do it, and let them do and make the films, be the films and so forth. But when you start then pushing it and advertising it, I have a dislike for when somebody, as part of somebody's part of their who they are, which they can't control, becomes their personality.
Yes, you are more than, like, your gender is not your defining character trait. Your ethnicity is not your defining character trait.
Yeah,
you know,
someone's sexuality, gender, ethnicity are things that they as a rule can't change about themselves.
When you are born, you didn't choose how you came out of the womb.
At least without a lot of work, you can't change this about yourself. You can't change. If you're gay, you're gay.
Yeah.
You can't be turned straight. You might be forced to live straight, but you can't be turned
straight. Which is unfortunate and shouldn't be.
Which is terrible and shouldn't be a thing. If you're born black, you're born white, you're born Asian. If you're born male or female,
you have no decision in your parenthood. Like your parents, your lineage, you didn't choose that.
No,
you were born into it.
If you write a character and the fact that they are gay, this is a problem. Like a lot of '90s stuff had the habit was a character's defining trait would be that they're gay, and that was their character. That's a problem in my book because that's something that someone can't change, and if that's their entire character, you've really not sort of properly done it. A character should be. You can have an arsehole, for example. Someone can be an arsehole and be straight, be gay, be white, be black, be male, be female.
These aren't character traits tied to sexuality, gender, race. Right, one second.
It'd be like making someone's eye cut.
I
don't like it.
I don't like I don't like the term race. I keep saying it, but I don't like it. I don't believe in it.
No, it's from a anthropological point of view, race doesn't exist.
Exactly.
We're all human.
I don't believe. Yeah, exactly. I don't believe in it. I don't.
Exactly. Just disliking somebody, for their color of skin is like saying dislike someone for the color of their eyes.
Yeah, that's one of my main arguments. It's like picking on someone for being short, tall, fat, thin. Blue eyes.
Which does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it shouldn't though.
But it shouldn't. Of course it shouldn't.
It
should. Anything you can't control, then is something that should not be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, there are groups of people who make it a thing.
Sadly.
Very sadly.
I hate that a lot of this stuff is weaponized. I don't think you deserve special treatment or worse treatment for any of those things that you can't control. So I've made it my business in recent history to say, look, frankly, if you are born in my country or you come to live in my country and you have citizenship like I do, then I expect you to have all of the same rights and privileges that I do. And if you don't, I want to know why and how we can change it.
Yes.
Right, because it shouldn't be a thing that, say, someone comes to live in my country, they don't have the same privileges that I do, or that someone is born in my country, but because of their sexuality, they don't have access to all of the same things that I do. It's frankly fucking stupid, but I'm also not one for waving flags and saying this person is special.
Yes, that is it's called positive discrimination.
Yeah.
Where if you, I'll give you an example. You have a job interview between two candidates, and obviously this wouldn't actually happen in the real world, but let's say they both are equally qualified, come across very well, they tick all the same boxes, but one's white, one's black. You decide to get to the bottom just to sort of, as you say, meet some artificial crowd, make it look like you're a diverse company.
They've had the same problem in esports as well, because they're now trying to come up with diverse teams. Which, can I be honest, in actual sports, like physical sports, combat sports, stuff like that, I could see where breaking in would be more of an issue. Right, but in esports, There is nothing between a man, a woman, or a transgender person, or a gay person, or whatever. There is nothing that decides out of any of those things who has the fastest reaction times.
No.
Right? If they can fucking click heads at a high level, they should be allowed. There shouldn't be a men's division and a women's division and a marginalized like genders division or whatever. Fucking just get rid of it, right? But they're now doing it. There was a couple of players they wanted to do an Overwatch team of a marginalized team. So you'd have like trans and all that all stuck in a team, but they were going to put them, instead of having them in that league, in a specific league for them, they were going to put them straight into the Overwatch, the full league. And a few players said, look, we want to be put on this team because we're good enough, not because you have a quota to meet. Because frankly, I find that offensive, because that shows that a company is, you're not trying to do what's best for the game, the team, the staff, whoever. You are literally doing it as a marketing stunt or from a PR standpoint, and that is horrible, which is kind of the same groove that I have with the Netflixy stuff. I just don't like it. It really gets on my wick. It's just done to wave a flag, and I can't stand that at all. I just can't. Back in a second, though. I've got to let the dog out.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I was waiting for Skazz to come back. I won't bore you with my opinions. On YouTube, the audio stream bitrate is low, but, well, that's cause for being a bit quiet. Shut up, pick up.
Yeah, just was sorry for that.
Yeah, no worries.
And that, as far as that rant goes, sorry, just that kind of thing really, really, really gets under my skin.
Yeah.
Even if it's like even if it's a disability quota, really gets under my skin. Just because, well, myself, I have a disability, and anytime I know that a company has a disability quota, I wonder, am I being employed because you have a box you need to tick, or is it because I'm actually good enough?
Yeah.
And I do wonder how many other people feel that way too. Did you just employ me because you have a box to tick or a quota to fill?
Yeah.
Or
It's yeah. And the trouble is, you never. Well, unless you find someone actually saying, you'll never know for sure.
yeah,
And it's the same with like TV show stuff. When someone gets cast and they say we like this actor for this role, it's catch-22 too, because they do cast like a great example. I always think is like in like fantasy books and stuff, they'll cast they might cast like a black actor because they're like, oh, this is the right fit for the role. Everybody will just go on about, nah, you just do it because you're trying to be woke and all this sort of
sure.
woke. So well, you're catch-22 too, because if you don't cast people, you're sorely not representing them enough. If you do cast and everybody say you're just being woke,
Yep.
you know, you're sort of catch-22 too. So I know for sure. I remember someone saying to me about we were talking about The Witcher, and there's a couple of characters in The Witcher who are black, and in the books it never makes mention of their colour of their skin.
sure.
And I said, in a TV show that's got dragons, dwarves, elves in it, magic, monsters of all sorts of stuff, if the bit that bothers you the most is the fact that one of the main characters is black, you need to readjust your opinions on these things.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty fucking out there.
Yeah, if that's the bit that makes you go, well, that's totally unrealistic.
Well,
then maybe you need to readjust things.
I know that a lot of people got raggy as well about the recent Lord of the Rings show.
There's a black elf in it.
Yeah, there's a
that.
black elf, there's a black dwarf. I'm gonna throw out there, man. They were fantastic characters. I thought.
Yeah,
I thought they were pretty solid. I liked it.
They were. Yeah, they're good
And I'm not a
characters.
fan of Tolkien, so it's not like it's not like I am literally choking down on fucking Tolkien's content. But I thought for the roles they were in, I thought they did a good job. If there was emotion they needed to put forward, my God, I felt it. Right.
Yes.
So which means they did their jobs as actors.
Exactly. Yes. It's almost as if like a good actor is the right actor for the role.
It's weird, isn't it? Or like, hey, why didn't you get that person's not a real disabled person, and why are they playing a disabled person or a gay person or whatever in a film? It's called acting.
Yes.
If they can play the character, let them play the character.
Yeah.
Just, oh man, please, just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm too aggressive in this in these this day and age. But you know, give people a chance. Stop.
Give people a chance.
Same with games. Stop. It happens a lot in games. Like, oh wow, so there's a new, as you said, like there's a female character that wasn't in the original when there's a remake, or oh mate, this is made by that all female studio. God damn it! Way back in the day, women were everywhere in computers.
Yeah.
They fucking were. Same with fucking, people of colour. I hate that. Can I say I hate that too? People of colour. I hate that. So I'm differentiating again. I don't like it. But they were. They're fucking everywhere. Because if you were good enough to do it, you did it.
Yeah. Well, arguably the first computer programmer, arguably the first is a lady called Ada Lovelace.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the person who who basically knew how to program Charles Babbage's difference engine, which is one of the first general purpose computer systems out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all mathematical based, but she's arguably the first computer programmer.
Yep.
And I think the head programmer on the Apollo missions was a woman.
They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
I will say, unfortunately, in some cases, some of these people have been kind of swept under the rug. It's the same when you have like games developers and it's like, oh, hey, it's that one guy. Like Hideo Kojima, he's the guy behind the Metal Gear franchise. He isn't. He's one guy as part of a team, but...
True. I will say that Metal Gear did go to shit after he left.
It was already pretty shit when he was there.
Well,
to
yeah,
be fair,
it was, but it really went to shit after he left.
Sure.
To be fair to him.
yeah. All right. I'll give you that. They didn't even finish Metal Gear 5. I don't think.
No, I think you're right.
But I hate it when that happens. I just wish that everyone would have their names displayed proudly as they should. Because there was a time, weren't there, like back in the 80s and 90s, when people didn't even have their names in games.
Did Maya?
It's just that it's one guy that does the no, but he's like, yeah, he did the whole thing.
American McGee.
You know, fucking. That's like if you ever played through like Atari games didn't have the developer's name in it, like the guy or the gal. That
was a policy by Atari, wasn't it though?
Yeah.
That was actual that programmer hid his initials in the game.
Yes. Yeah. Well, a few different programmers did that. The Easter egg who they were in the games. And then there was like on the Super Nintendo days, things that were made by Japanese developers would be. Their names would be replaced by the translation team or the localization team, or people would just have random names put in. You know, like a westernized name would be put into the credits or whatever, and I think that's quite unfortunate because a lot of people's names were just lost. Or like Atari, they would just make up a name and stick it in.
It's a weird thing to do.
Yeah, it is kind of daft. But if you look at them, like you'd have like Billy Bob did all the music for this game or whatever. So, but there was no one working at Capcom called Billy Bob. It was an entire group of whoever doing the thing. Or they get accredited to like all the music in this game was done by Falcom Sound Team JDK, and it's like, who were they? I wish more people had their names front and center so you could actually go, I liked that shit. That was done by that person. Rockin'. But, hasn't always been a thing.
Anyway, as we're a games podcast,
yes.
So, Skazz, have you been playing anything?
I have, only briefly. It was bought for me as a gift. It's a little puzzle game. Available on PC. I don't know if it's on any other platform, sadly. And it was available in the recent Steam sale. It's only a cheapy little dealio. It's just a little indie game called Mini Metro.
Oh, I've had a Mini Metro.
Now, Mini Metro is kind of neat. It's a little kind of puzzly game. They've done Mini Motorway as well, but I haven't played that one. Mini Metro is neat in that... have you ever looked at like your London Underground map where you've got like all your lines are different colours and they join up to different stations and stuff? Mini Metro looks like, when you play it for a little bit, you're almost designing your London Underground map, right? And as you play, you'll start with like say 2 stations, and there'll be a shape. You could have like a circle, square, triangle, a star, whatever, right? And you need to join all of these stations together with your different lines. And every 7 days, you get maybe more like coloured lines, more trains, more carriages to put on certain lines. And realistically, you want to connect all your stations that come up, because they do just like they spawn in like every day or every couple of days. You'll get a new station spawn in. And as they spawn in, you'll get people turn up to the station, and they will be the shape of the station that they want to go to. And if too many people build up at the station, your metro system kind of collapses. Your train line collapses. So if you were British Rail, if I was running it, you'd be shit out of luck after about 30 days.
Mate, trust me. From what I understand, that's the norm. British Rail.
There you go. Take another crack at it, lads.
Yeah, no. If British Rail was in Mini Metro, it just wouldn't collapse. It just keep going. You just have thousands of people there waiting to get to work, and it just carry on.
Oh, mate, it happens.
But you get to raise your ticket prices instead.
Until we can provide the service, never going to happen. But
we're going to have to increase our ticket prices till we can afford to buy a train.
So if any of you leave and ask for a refund, you're going to make everyone else wait. Don't do it. That's like peer pressure.
Yes.
Stay at the station.
Yeah.
The train will eventually come, and that's kind of one of the neat things, because it's puzzly in that. You could just make one huge like train line, but then it will take forever for the your little train to do that massive lap, right? So then what you could do is you could say, well, I've got another coloured line, and I'm going to join up, like, say, 4 stations over here that are on the same kind of route as this main one, so people can just get on this little line if they want to. You can readjust the lines if you want to, because as well as a train carriage can only hold so many of the little people, the little shapes. So do you add in more trains? Do you add in more carriages? Do you want to break up things into different lines? You sometimes, like, a new station might open up over a river and you've got no way to cross the river yet. You might have already used them, you've poorly planned, and now you've got to put another line in somewhere else to try and get people from one side of the river to the other. And it's really, for how simple it is, it's really, really, really fun. Like, it's really addicting. You can just see an hour just fade away in a heartbeat.
Is that like the best puzzle games like that? Best
Yes.
puzzle game are a simple premise that adds layers but builds on layers and layers on top of it, that premise, and creates something highly addictive.
And it's also kind of neat as well, in that as people get on and off the trains and go to different stations and stuff, and new stations pop up, like, the music changes a little bit, like almost kind of like at bleeps and bloops. It's got a very ambient-y, chiptune-y kind of sound to it. And as like trains go to new stations and that, the music changes a little bit too. So there's almost like a beat change for every time a train goes to a station or whatever. So the music is playing as the trains move.
Yeah.
It's really sweet, really neat. I can't really tell you, like, how many different lines you can unlock, because I've not counted, but, like, there's I think you can get like 7, 8, 9, 10 different lines. You can delete lines, like you can pause and fast forward time, so you can kind of skip through a week faster. You can increase the size of stations when they unlock, because basically you get like 2 unlocks and you get to pick one. So it's like, do I want another train or do I want another line? Okay, cool, you've picked another line. Well then, do you want do you want a tunnel or do you want a carriage? Like they'll throw in, or do you want to, like, increase the size of a station? And you get to pick these things like every 7 days or so, and then through that you have to then, like, balance until you get the next random roll that you get to pick. It's really, 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 really fun.
So
and then trying to figure out.
Sorry, go on.
And then you have to kind of predict as well. Like, for example, if you get like a bigger station, which will then allow you to have more people stand at the platform before they get angry. You have to actually kind of predict where the busiest station is going to be over the next week, because you might go, oh shit, I'm having trouble with people on this station, only to then find you've made that one bigger, which then decreases the amount of time it takes for people to change on that platform as well. But then it might turn out that one of the new stations becomes incredibly problematic really quickly, and you could have used that bigger station to pad for time until you got the resources to connect that one up properly. It's a nice little kind of balancing act. I thought it was. I think it's really fun.
What sort of because all these sort of puzzles usually have some sort of like restriction that sort of like makes it sort of the complicated part as well. So it's not just joining lines together. Is it like you can't cross lines, stuff like that?
Nope.
What sort of like trips you up then? What's going to trip you up?
The speed in which the trains move. So if you make a massive line that takes minutes for a train to go around, well, if all of a sudden your carriage can only handle like 8 people and there's 12 people waiting, well,
you're screwed.
Yeah, there's only a handful of them are going to get on. More people are going to be waiting to get on. The numbers of people are just going to build up and build up and build up until you can either manage that line properly or fail. So until you can get more trains, more carriages, that kind of thing. So you have to properly balance things out, manage your resources over the week until you get that next roll. and it can fall apart incredibly quickly. Like all of a sudden, you might have a star station open up, but then find out that the one of the stations that you maybe weren't paying attention to has now got a bunch of people that want to go to that star station, but that line isn't connected to that station.
Yeah.
So then you have to expand the line or draw a whole new line if you've got the ability to get those people off that platform to that station without making it too long and then making everyone else wait to get to where they want to go. So you'd have to make so you could have like one giant ring to cover a majority of the stations, but then break up that ring with different colours to say like, well, hey because I from what I've seen, passengers can get off of trains at different stations to then connect to other stations or to connect to other lines. So you might have a bunch of squares get off on a station. There's, like I say, another square that's connected to another one they want to go to, or a bunch of triangles will get on a train, move over to a connecting line, bundle off onto that station, which then makes it closer to shutting down, to hitting maximum. And you have to hope that the next train that's going to pick those triangles up to move them to the next place gets there faster, or you're going to basically shit the bed and your line is going to close. It's all resource management.
I love the logic of, well, this train station is really busy, we best close it.
Yeah, basically, because like, you know, and seriously, man, those things can stack really quick. Like all of a sudden, it'll be like, oh yeah, there's like 3 people waiting there. Shit, there's like now like 12 people waiting there. Oh my god, they're now freaking out because you get like a circle come around the outside of the station, like a clock, like the old countdown clock. You know,
Yeah.
And it starts to like fill up, and if it does the full circle, you're done. And you're like, oh god, no! I didn't notice that station was getting busy, like really, really, really busy, and then bam, game over. They've got like other modes, like creative, like infinite times, where you can just like plonk down things and just fiddle around with things. You know, where you can put down stations and stuff is kind of neat. You can change. They've got like daily challenges, like how many people can you transport before you get shut down. Kind of thing. Like if you're based in like China, Japan, they've got London, New York, and like the theming of the lines changes and that as well. That's kind of neat. I don't know how the different cities like relate to difficulty and stuff, but it is pretty neat. So I haven't played it enough, but it's really, 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 really fun if you just want to sit there and dick about. I mean, I was playing it in bed on the Steam Deck, and I lost an hour, like just sitting there, just, you know. Oh mate, I'm gonna draw this line here, draw that line there, and I've seen like my wife's got like thousands and thousands of people just going through that. It's got a counter for like the time of the week, like the date, the time, and then like how many people you've moved about, or how many people are waiting at platforms. And she's got like thousands of people just hopping on and off trains and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, fucking hell, mate, how'd you keep up with that? It's kind of cool. It's really cool.
Oh, sounds fun.
I mean, it's literally, I think you can buy it for like between 5 and 15 quid. Oh, there you go, $6.99. I think the mini motorway one is more expensive. But you can buy them in a set, and it regularly goes on sale, and I think it's really, really, really fun. I'm looking forward to taking a crack at the car version. But yeah, it's for something as simple as move shape from one platform to a platform of the same shape. It's great. Just like draw coloured lines, plonk little rectangular trains on the lines. They move around, move people around, expand, put more trains down, build tunnels, that kind of. It's really neat. It's just a top down. It just looks like a fucking map of London Underground or whatever. Really fun.
Cool.
What have you been playing, man?
Awesome. Well, so I have been playing a game called Paradise Killer. Not to be confused with Paradise Lost that I played last time. Because they've got very similar names. It's a bit like my first sort of point of reference was a bit like Disco Elysium.
Right.
That I played last year, where it's basically it's a murder mystery. So
also point and click.
No, it's not point and click, but it's in terms of it's a murder mystery. You have to interview suspects to try and find out what's happened, look for clues, that sort of thing. It's first person, walk around. So yeah, but so it's set in a sort of, I suppose, alternative history, really. Sort of like 1,000 years ago, gods ruled the earth, but the gods are actually aliens, and the people humanity eventually revolted against them, and either imprisoned them or killed them, drove them away. But one of the last gods, called the Silent Goat, basically imbued their power, as they got sort of killed, imbued their power to a group of people, allowing them to create like a island outside reality. And these people were called the Syndicate. And they created this island outside reality. And the idea was they were going to basically bring the gods back on these islands. And the first island they created, very shortly afterwards, they found that it got corrupted by demons, which were also aliens as well. These basically corrupted the island. So they destroyed the island and started it again. And they keep doing this. They keep creating new islands. Every time one gets corrupted and gets all destroyed or damaged, they basically write it off and create a new one. And always going to find you got to Island 15, where your character, called Lady Love Dies, she got tricked by one of the gods, one of the sort of nasty gods, tricked her and basically started the death of Island 15. As punishment, you got exiled. And sort of like put literally in this building like several hundred feet above the island. And you were left in exile for quite a long time. And as the island sort of changed and moved on, you got moved with them and so forth. And this brings us to Island 24. Island Secrets 24. And you start the game in your little like day in exile. You've been there about 8,000 years now. Because you're mortal. All the Syndicate are mortal on these islands. And also, you're recalled back. You're brought out of exile. As it's meant to be an eternal exile. You're meant to be there forever. But you're brought back by a character called Judge. They brought you back. And the reason they brought you back is leading the Syndicate are the Council, who basically decide what they're going to do. And they are the ones who like sort of create the next island. They sort of like channel the psychic energy to create the next island, which they have, called Perfect 25, because they think they've solved all the problems of demon invasions.
Sure they have.
Sure they have. But the Council, the night of the island being destroyed, the Council all get murdered. And your role on the island was as an investigator.
Mm-hmm.
So you're brought out of exile to basically find out who murdered the Council. And you're given, and the default original, when you're brought there, is like, here's who we think murdered them. There's a guy who's what they call a citizen. And citizens are, this way, you're not the good guys in this game. You are all bad guys in this game, because citizens are like the lower classes, because they realise that they need somebody to do. If you're a syndicate, you want to sort of like live a happy life. You need a group of people to do, like, you know, grow food, build things. You basically need a slave class. So what you did, also a group of people will go back to like our reality and kidnap people and bring them back to work as slaves. And here's the thing: when the island sequences end, all the people in the syndicate get moved to the next one. The citizens, as they call them, don't. They're just left to die of the island.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, they're left to die. Like I say, you're not the good guy, but there's a citizen called, I love the fact that the name in this is brilliant. So you play a character called Lady Love Dies. There's a character called Crimson Kiss. There's Dr. Doom Jazz. There's, well, excuse me. And the guy who's the chief suspect is called Henry. And
all right.
Yeah, this is where the sort of game works. And you're basically, Henry was found. He basically, sort of like 10 years previous, had been a victim of demon possession. Demon had possessed him, or still possesses him, actually. And he had murdered somebody, and he got put into prison. And he escaped prison the night of the island, like the council were meeting. Somehow was found with council blood in his stomach. They found with him. And after having killed two guards, and he gets sort of recaptured and put back to prison. So he's like dead cert for the King of the Council. Because the other thing is about the Council is, at the start of the game, they assume the council's been murdered because the council have like these like they call seals, and they're like they're basically like sort of locks, but they're like a bit more complicated. They're like metaphysical locks that got sort that they basically only the council could get through.
Are you saying to me this poor bastard's on trial, but they could have just gone to the pub?
Sort of getting that's possible. Well, yeah, because you actually don't know the council's dead. They assume the council's dead, but they don't, because they're going the council get into the sealed area. No one get in there to find out if they are or not.
That's a pretty shite system. That's all I'm gonna say,
oh yeah, it's a pretty shite system, yeah. So, but basically, Judge, after the council saw soon to be killed, Judge, who's like a person who's basically had their personality deleted and become one with the island, who basically is an impartial person, and so is the best judge you could have. They basically seal the island down, so we're not going to actually move anybody else on until we get to the bottom of what happened. We want to find out what actually happened. Is this guy, is evidence around him is actually circumstantial at best? We need to find out if he's actually the guy who murdered them. So that's Judge was the one who pulled you out of exile, and they stop anybody else passing to the next island. So some people have already moved on. Half the syndicate have moved on to the next island. The rest have stayed behind. And your job is basically to find out what happened to all the syndicate. The reason you don't have many civilians to interview, the reason there aren't many citizens is in order to make the next island, they kill them more and use their psychic energy to make the next island.
Oh, well, the civvies are getting a fucking fantastic deal out of this. And you're saying that they're all kidnapped?
They're kidnapped, yes.
Wow.
They're kidnapped, forced to work. Bear in mind, they're forced to work for potentially hundreds of years. And then at the end of the time, when it goes to the island, they slaughter all of them, and use that. There's literally, you can go to the temple where that happens. There's just like pools of blood everywhere.
Our survey says no.
Yeah, these are nice people, really. But everybody's very friendly, and when you talk to them, they're very friendly and nice. Most people
I bloody bet they are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So, and
all for perfect 25. Woo!
Yeah. And you're basically given all the syndicate members, you'll get a list of all syndicate members to interview and try and basically find out truth. So you've got to go interview them, you've got to go look for clues, try and find evidence to support them. So they might tell you something, and you've got to then try and find the evidence to support their version of events. If not, go back and challenge them, talk back to them and so forth, and basically try and work out what actually happened. And ideally, try and find a way to get into the syndicate's HQ, syndicate's council building, and so you can look at the council and see what happened to them. So it's a murder mystery, and it's basically, so realistically it's like a walking simulator. Really, it's all about just searching, finding clues, talking to people, going back and challenging people. You can also sort of like if you hang out with people, and if you sort of like are sort of a nice gym, or sort of like get set the right options, you can like they'll perhaps like reveal additional information, and you'll basically get given a list of like a number of case files, some which get opened up, which are like mysteries you need to solve, and like almost like charges you need to find the answer to. And the game does a lot to help you along in terms of like sort of managing all this. So you can have it so that you have to sort evidence yourself, or you have it set to auto and it'll sort it for you. I left it to auto because, well, why not?
Are you one of these geezers that plays every game on easy mode just to get through it?
No.
Okay, good.
But I tend to play whatever the default setting the game is. I tend to play it on.
I get that.
These days.
I get that.
I don't tend to go to easy mode, but I don't tend to up it either.
Sure, that's
so fine. Normal. And by default, this is switched on that the game will sort all the evidence for you. And to be fair, it's fairly straightforward. Organize it yourself anyway. It's just that it's more of a pain to do it.
Yeah.
So, I might let the game sort it out. And it will actually give you evidence. So, evidence is grown to like sort of 3 bits. You've got like people's like testimony. You've got alibis, and you've got alibi breakers. So, which are things that counter the alibis. So, if someone says, "Oh, I was with so and so and so and so all night," you might then find some computer logs that show that no, they weren't with so and so and so and so all night. They actually logged out this place for a few minutes and came back, as an example. There are computers across the island that are locked down. They have different levels of encryption, and to decrypt them, you basically will get given a series of images, and you'll get given like all the parts, like in sort of silhouette of the image, and below you have to select the bits that make up the image, and if it matches, you'll get through. There's no penalty for getting it wrong. So if you select the wrong part, all it just says is it has like a little percentage, like you're like 33% there. It just goes down a bit. There's no penalty for getting it wrong. So you could just, in theory, brute force if you want to, but in reality, if you look at them, they're very straightforward. By default, the default image says goat, and you have to make up. You get pictures of goats. You have to make up. Then there's cosmos, pyramid, and worship. So cosmos is like pictures of the moon and stars. Pyramid is pyramids, and worship is like figures of like, again, sort of ancient Egyptian figures. You have like sort of stick figures that match them up, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that, you decrypt stuff, and you can basically then access logs and so forth. There are areas where like you'll go into a room and it'll switch to like a sort of a scanning mode where like you have a picture of the room and you can like bits will be highlighted which you click on, it'll give you information, some which you might need to hack through to get to, and then it'll get further information and further support. It's a really, I like the storyline, I like the world. It is really neat little game. It is, unfortunately, you do spend an awful lot of time walking around, and you will be walking back and forth from character to character because they're all spread all over the island. Oh, so the map of the island is terrible. The map is so low detail. It's literally just like a very rough, like pixelated image of the diamond, just square saying here's this, but no, like okay, you can't like say, well, I'm here, I need to go down this way to find it. You just like roughly head direction. But after a while, you learn your way around, so you do figure out how to get to places.
Right. So is that you saying like it's so low D that you can't like you can miss stuff like really easily, or just
the map? So the map is on your computer, and it's incredibly low. It's low detail, terribly low detail. It's basically like, imagine it's like someone got a picture of the United Kingdom, ran it down to like sort of like really low, like low res, and then put a massive square in the middle and just put London.
Yeah,
and then a square to the right of it, put Norwich, and that's your guidance. It's not enough.
Sure, I get
it's not enough. Yeah. So after a while, you end up sort of like giving up on the map and sort of finding your own way round. Which one? What do you think? I mean, I played the game for like 15 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite long. There is, I mean, that is probably all the limitation is running around between characters. I mean, there is fast travel in it, but fast travel costs. So scattered all around the island, these little blood crystals, which were made by a guy who's a member of the Syndicate. They want to have money, but they realise they want to have to make money work. They'd have to have it like have a fixed value, so that there had to be a limited supply of it as well. So a guy turned his blood into crystals, and because obviously he only had so much blood, it meant there's only so much money in the world.
Fuck the gold standard.
yeah, exactly. And there's this little demon, a little alien demon that you meet up to, who basically chats to you throughout all the island, who chats to you, and sort of like, he basically challenges back to you a lot of your assumptions, and he's the one who basically says, he's the one who actually outright says to you, you're the bad guys, right? You do understand that you're all evil doing this, and your character goes, no, not really. And he's the one who sort of like calls you out. But he's the one who says, oh yeah, these are all blood diamonds that you need to get around. Yeah, I've stolen them all, because no one needs them, because the island's disappearing, going to be moved on. So I've hidden them all over the place. So you have to actually search for them and find them. They're fairly easy to find, mostly. You can also later on unlock an ability called Meditate, which if you go into it, basically just highlights every collectible across the map. And because you can walk across the whole map, it highlights everything.
Oh, okay.
It's there's literally, you just literally look around, there'll just be hearts everywhere, which indicates that it's a collectible. Actually, and also just going to disappear. So if you're ever struggling to find stuff, that's a way to try and track down more coins and stuff. But the trouble with fast travel is fast travel costs. So it's like if you're like me, it's like I could spend money, or I could just walk there.
You hardcore budget things. Kind of like when you play a shooter or like a survival horror, and you've got like an ammo or a resource or whatever, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna save it, and then you get to the end and you've got so much.
Oh look, I've got 10,000 medkits and 65 rockets.
And you think to yourself, well, there you go, and then the end boss goes down in like 2 rockets.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's neat. The art style is vaporwave, which is like sort of Hotline Miami style.
No, yeah. No, I know. Vaporwave is very 80s, very neon, very.
Yeah, and the music sort of matches it as well.
Yeah, the very 80s synthy,
yes,
hackery, what we all imagine the future to be.
Yeah, one smart thing they have done is the sort of world is sort of built. It's 3D. It's 3D, and the world's built in this sort of style. But obviously, it's not exactly high poly world. And they realise that character models don't work very well in that style. So all the characters are 2D sprites.
Right.
Very detailed. So if you go on the Steam page and look up, you'll see sort of the quality that when they're like the sorts, what they look like in conversations, how they look in world. So literally just a 2D image you walk up to, and it's like a billboard style, so they rotate towards you. But that'll give you an idea of what they look like. If you look at the on the Steam store, what they look like, that gives you an idea of how the characters look in game. Let's see if I can find. So like, yeah, if you scroll across, there's a picture of Yuri Knight. That is how he appears in game. As you talk up to him, his character appears. So you can see all the 3D world behind him. He's about halfway along the pictures on Steam.
All right.
And that's in that. So
I think I've seen this.
It's on your wish list,
mate. Everything's on my wish list.
I know. That's what I mean. And there's like no one. Yeah. And so you see what I mean. Yeah. But you see, that is how it comes up. That talking to is how it comes up when you walk up to somebody.
Sure.
So that is actually like before you started having conversation with these. So that's how it appears. They're all 2D, and they've got like a number of like different sort of. They don't have any sort of animation. They sort of switch between like different images, showing their different sort of like level, what they're sort of how reacting stuff. And there's some voice dialogue. It's not every line is voiced. But what is for they say each character will have a number of like little barks that they reuse again and again and again. And the barks are very much sort of like tying to their personality. The barks are enough to give you an idea of their personality.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters are all sort of. I like the characters. I mean, some characters you've got like Dr. Doom Jazz, who's the Doctor. He's got these big robot arms. He's Scottish. It's made by a British company. This makes this game, I should say. Your Lady Love Dies. You've got Yuri Knight, who's like he's a really arrogant like geezer. He like thinks he thinks everybody's beneath him pretty much. There's Camilla, who's like the architect. She's actually one who has the ability to create the islands. You've got Crimson Kiss, who she was blessed, but the gods blessed her by giving her a goat's head.
Sure.
So she's just like a normal person with a goat's head. I did end up, and if you play your cards right, you can have sex with her.
Oh, fantastic!
I did successfully achieve.
Just as a quick note, publisher for Paradise is the same as Orwell and Hacknet. I've got a few of the games. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, there we go.
Although this is the only game that they've developed, but as part of a bigger collection, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as the characters are slightly sort of crazy. It is a really neat game, and then at the end of the game, the sort of final bit is you have a trial. So you go back to judge, and you can go back to judge at any point and say, "I'm ready to begin the trial." At any point you go back to him and say, "I'm ready to go. Let's go, let's start." And then they'll start the trial, and you'll basically have to give all your evidence So you have to basically, for each, she'll go for all your case files, and they'll go for each case file and she says, right, okay, case files, we now need you to accuse somebody. So you then basically can look through and the game will actually give you all the evidence you've got for that case. So it'll say like, you can accuse people with no evidence if you really want to. But it'll go through and it'll say, okay, it'll list all the evidence that goes against them for this case. And if you go out and when you select somebody, you then accuse them, you then present all the evidence. Now, what's interesting is that the game basically says, and it's all made through, sort of obviously through that the game is there's a difference between facts and truth. And your job is to present your truth with your facts.
Okay, I hate your truth as well.
Yeah. And the idea is you have to you can actually, if you do it right, you can basically frame somebody because you present the facts and you can be careful for this. If you want, you can frame somebody. So it's a character you don't like, you can frame them, and if you want to. I mean, to be fair, it's fairly, if you proper dig through and find all the evidence and everything, pretty clear you can figure out what actually happened. And you'll be able to work out who the person was behind it or and so forth. I mean, the trial segment is really well done. That trial took nearly... I spent over an hour doing the trial. It was really good. Really, I thought it was going to be fairly quick because you go through every case file. And each case takes like sort of 5-6 minutes. Because you're going through, there's quite a few to go through. And at the end of it, everybody who's been found guilty, you execute. You're just a little montage of you shooting everybody.
I mean, let's be fair. You're executing majority of the people on the island anyway, so...
Yeah, at least the people are part of the syndicate who likes all the ruling class.
They deserve it.
Yeah, they do, actually, yeah, to be fair. And then after you do all that, you allow the island's all like he's dying. It's like, okay, your last job is there's a to get in the car and drive to the next island. But you can go around and talk to everybody who's left. You can go and talk to poor Henry, who's whether you execute him or not, he's going to die anyway because the island's going to end because he's possessed by a demon. They can't take him with him. So it's a really neat game. It's a really neat game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was sort of like one of those games where I couldn't wait to sort of play it again.
It came out a couple of years ago, didn't it, on Switch, if I remember rightly?
Yes, it came on Switch and it's now on Steam. It's now available on PlayStation Store.
All right.
You can't get a physical copy, but you can digitally. I think it's on Xbox as well now, digital.
Cool.
So yeah,
it's not very expensive either, right? You know, it's only what, $15.
Yeah, and it's worth it. 1% is worth it for that money. I would totally go out there. It's I'm very happy with it. I bought it on Steam sale. Actually, no, that's true. I actually had it already. I bought it ages ago. I bought another game on Steam sale. I'm thinking something different. But no, really good game. So if you like Disco Elysium, this doesn't feel quite as in depth as Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium is like a 40-hour game. It's like a 15-hour game. But it's still just as fun. I could see some people getting annoyed trying to keep walking back and forth everywhere. I can see people getting annoyed with that, which is fair. But it's still I've really found it enjoyable.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
I might look into it.
Yes. Right. Anything else from yourself, Skazz?
That's it for me, son.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining us today. You can join us on our next, not live stream, our next podcast on the 17th of December, where we'll have our Christmas special, including Game of the Year.
Yay!
Yay! So you come join us for that. And you can also join us this Tuesday on the 6th for our games night. We are moving on from Demio. I'm just gonna pretend there's not another expansion coming out.
They announced the new expansion.
No,
the new expansion.
no,
we gotta say it. The new expansion was announced, released on the day that we finished the last one.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. Don't have any idea what you're talking about. So, join us at Games Night. You can join me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Suffolk Ram.
And I'm twitch.tv/Skazzius, SK4ZZR0US.
And we will look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time on the 17th. So until then, see you later.
Take it easy, guys.